Hi, Janessa Keller here from Just One More Thing, and I want to give you a few tips and tricks to help you out with this hat pattern called the My Way hat pattern. It's a really simple, straightforward, nice and stretchy hat, and it's just simple knits and purl stitches. But there are a couple things that you want to keep in mind while you're working it. And to show you this, I'm going to have to turn the hat inside out, because what I want to focus on today are these floats. So on the right side, you can see that there are some rows of purl stitches and rows of knit stitches. These purl stitches are actually slipped while you're doing the knit stitches, and they create these floats along the back, as you can see. Now, while you're working this, you want to make sure that you're not leaving your floats too loose, but you do want them loose enough so that you can still get the stretch that you need with the hat. In order to do this, I like to just lay the knitting real flat across the back and kind of pinch it with my finger while I'm working the knit stitches, and that keeps it in place without letting it get too loose. But you don't want to pull it tight, otherwise you won't get that stretch. Here's an example that I'm working on. Now you'll have to forgive me, I worked this up doing my normal left-handed knitting, so this might look a little bit backwards, but you will be able to see how I tension the floats across if you're doing magic loop or if you're doing it on like 2 circular needles. This works even if you're doing it with DPNs. So as you can see, I've come to a corner, and I'm just going to take that yarn and I'm just going to gently hold it just right there in place, right behind where the knit stitch is going to happen, and gently work that first knit stitch. I'm not going to pull it tight like I usually do with magic loop. I'm going to work my 3 knit stitches. I'm going to slip the 3 purl stitches. And then I'm just going to gently again kind of hold that yarn right there behind the purl stitches so that it doesn't get too loose, but it doesn't get too tight either. I don't accidentally pull it tight while I'm working my knit stitch. I just gently hold it there and work my knit stitches. Now if you're not a continental knitter, I'm going to slip those 3 purl stitches. I'm going to, with my other hand, just kind of bring that yarn and gently hold it. With that other finger while I wrap my yarn. So your goal while you're working this is to just get those nice flat floats that aren't too loose, so that you don't end up you don't want them too loose so that you don't end up with holes. You just don't want them too tight so that the hat won't fit. It's a nice little balance, but hopefully you can see there, you can still kind of get your finger under them if you need to, but they're not super tight. They lay nice and flat against the work. As you're working this pattern, you're going to notice that you need to work the knit 3, slip 3, or the slip 3, knit 3, depending on which row you're on. You're going to need to work that 4 rounds. So if you get lost in your pattern, you can just count the number of floats that you have, and as long as you always have 4, then you know you're ready to move on to the next part. It'll kind of help you keep track. So I hope that's been a little bit helpful, being able to visualize what the floats look like, and I hope that little trick about counting the floats as you work helps keep you on track for your pattern. If you have any questions, you know where to reach me on YouTube and Instagram. Thanks for watching.